welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, episode 214, the Kick-Ass Urban Gaming podcast from Affable Idiots. I'm Holden DePardo. We've got Chad Michael Innes here with us. Do you want to say hi, Chad?
Hi, Chad. That's an original joke made up just by me. Hi, Chad. Hi.
But we also have the highly prolific Dungeons & Dragons master, Trevor Bettis. Trevor, how's it going?
It's going well. Thanks for having me on. I'm prolific. I'm going to add that to my Twitter bio.
All of your podcasts, but I can't list all of them. So do you want to plug all of your podcasts right now?
Oh my god, I haven't done that in so long. I've just been saying, just go to my Twitter account at the Trevor. There's an A hiding in there, and that's about it. God, let's go in chronological order, shall we?
Yeah.
Difficulty class was just Dungeons & Dragons podcast. From the same mister, where me and my half siblings talk about being donor conceived and finding each other and having a good time. Other Side of Suspicion, where me and some friends get together and talk about spooky storage, which has been off for a little bit, but there's still some good episodes there. You should go listen to that. Then we got Champions of Lore, which is done with Codename Entertainment. We talk about D&D lore and connected to Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, which was an awesome video game. Champions of Psychology, which is also done by Codename Entertainment. We talk about mental health and gaming in these unprecedented times, and hopefully have some good conversations about it. We're not there to help you though. Go see a professional. Then we got Writing About Dragons and Shit, which is a writing podcast that I do with B. Dave Walters and Aaron M. Evans, who's also on Champions of Lore. And so I'm up to 6. Got 6 right now.
You're making up some of these.
That's amazing.
You don't host that many podcasts.
I'm not. All of those are real.
That's too many podcasts.
I do.
Okay, here's another side of suspicion for you. Trevor doesn't really do all these podcasts.
And I'm also the podcast producer for Black Dice Society, which is an official Dungeons & Dragons streamed game, which goes on.
So I stand by my earlier statement, the prolific Trevor Bettis.
Which is wild because, I literally, the first time I was on this show with y'all was the second time I'd ever been on a podcast ever.
Do you remember Dungeon Driver?
Wow, that's right, yeah.
Dude, Dungeon Driver. Those episodes are still up on difficulty class. Fuck my butt.
I hit my knee on my desk and now I'm dead.
Well, in our podcast, we're not cool like Trevor.
I want to introduce our audience to this concoction that I'm drinking, just to let them know I'm already starting silly, but I've created a Jaeger bomb of sorts for the modern day man, and it is part White Claw pineapple, part Mountain Dew Zero Sugar Baja Blast, which I just learned today existed, and I bought it at Target. And you mix them together in a butterbeer mug. I don't know how it tastes, but I've decided 10 minutes ago that I'm going to do it. It's pretty smacking. I can't wait. All right, continue, Holden. You're allowed to resume the episode.
Well, all right. So you can catch our one episode on Twitch Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, except for right now, which we're not doing it that way. YouTube and podcast services Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, but it might not play out for this episode that way. I don't know yet. We're recording a little late. But that's what it says in the notes, so I just read it on the teleprompter because I'm apparently like Ron Burgundy. Upcoming, we have Blue Box and Silent Hill shenanigans we'll be talking about. Dead Space might be returning, maybe. Fingers crossed. A lot of conspiracy theories in this episode, a lot of speculation.
Other Side of Suspicion is here for the gaming episode.
Yes!
But before all that, no speculation required to talk about our opinions on E3 and what we liked and everything related to E3. I wanted to start off, this is our main quest, I wanted to start off with just what our favorite announcements were. And I want to actually throw it to Trevor first because your highly enthusiastic tweets was the reason I wanted you on to talk about this.
Well, I'll start off with the first most enthusiastic one, which was Elden Ring. Oh my god.
When damn, Ring.
I couldn't. I lost my shit. Oh my gosh. You got the full trailer. You're on horseback. It's open world. You're fighting shit. It's all dark and dreary. I'm so excited. I'm so freaking excited for that. More Soulsborne from FromSoft. Oh my gosh. Yes, give it to me. Put it in my veins.
Absolutely.
And you got great. George R. R. Martin helping write on it, and everything's already terrible in this world. So there's nothing for him to make even worse. That's not me saying that his stuff is bad. I'm saying anytime something good happens in Game of Thrones, something bad immediately precedes it. So there you go. But Metroid. Oh my freaking God. The game that had been rumored for 16 years is real. It has a trailer, it's happening, and it's coming out this year.
I'm not gonna lie, I might be Metroid sexual now. Like, I was very attracted to that game.
And like the absolute just chaotic wildness of it all is that, you know, we had Metroid Prime 4 announced, what, 3-4 years ago now?
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, and from what we've heard, that game has been restarted a few times now and everything, and it looks like it's now going to be coming out after Metroid Dread, since that's coming out in October.
Were you
which
all
is
just as
actually
confused as I
titled
was?
Metroid 5.
Exactly, yeah. Were you just as confused
Yeah.
as I was when you
do
saw
want me to
Metroid 5
explain
on there?
to you? No, I know what that means. Do you want me to explain that?
Yeah,
Yes, please.
It's the 2D series. It's all different.
No,
2D.
here's the thing. It's all in the same timeline. So the way that the timeline goes is that it's Metroid, which was on NES. Then the second one is Super Metroid. Oh, no, sorry. The second one is Metroid 2 Samus Returns, which was on the Game Boy. Super Metroid is the third one, which was on Super Nintendo, thus the Super Metroid. And then Metroid Prime and Fusion came out at the same time. But Metroid Fusion is actually Metroid 4, but it takes place after Prime. In fact, it actually takes place after all of the Primes. So even Metroid Prime 4 takes place before Metroid Fusion that came out in 2002.
It takes place after Amazon Prime Day? Like, because that was this week, and technically,
Yes.
okay.
To be fair, it technically is. It is technically, yeah. And now we've got Metroid Dread, which is Metroid 5, which will be after Fusion, which is why her suit looks all different. So yeah, I'm losing my shit over this. I get another 2D Metroid. I've been playing Samus Returns remake for 3DS like mad since it came out. I'm just so excited. I'm so damn excited.
I didn't realize how excited I am
marvelous.
for
It looks
Metroid. Like, I have not been a Metroid super fan ever in my life. I played Metroid Fusion on the GBA. That was my first Metroid. And then I played the whole Prime series on Wii.
It's a good
played
game.
it via GameCube backwards compatibility because I never had a GameCube. And then I played a little bit of Samus Returns on 3DS because Holden bought it for me, and I was like, "This is super repetitive, and I'm not into it." But wait. Also, tell me in 45 seconds when I'm done telling you this story. Where does Metroid Other M fall in that timeline? All right, let me continue now. So then I saw this, and I was like, "Oh man, I am just
doesn't matter.
super
Don't talk
juiced
about
for it." So yeah, I'm V into it, as the kids say. V.
V into it.
Also Super
Metroid Other
Metroid.
M, by the way, takes place after Super Metroid, but before Metroid Prime.
Oh, that's right.
It's
We played
actually
Super
directly
Metroid for
after
Barf
Super
too.
Metroid.
I played that, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I
Yeah,
really
we
did
did.
not like.
It was
the
our first
fact
Barf
that it was,
game.
Was it? Yeah, that was our first. I did not enjoy the fact that it did not have an explanation outside of the instruction manual about some of these things, but other than that, it was great.
Yeah, I was just telling Trevor that before we were recording. Like the whole shooting 5 missiles at a door, how to wall jump. Oh,
Yeah, breaking that fucking glass. I
Everything's
spent
terrible
hours.
behind me. Sorry, hang on a second. My light has decided to fall off my freaking table. You can
Oh,
just stay
no.
down there. My chair attacked it. It's all my fault. Continue with. That's what I'm excited for. I'm gonna mute my mic.
the gameplay footage for Metroid Dread that we saw, the trailer, I'm like, oh god, I'm so hyped. And then we saw that gameplay footage. They had about like 45 minutes of gameplay footage. I watched all of it, maybe several times. I won't acknowledge that fully, but maybe several times. It looks so good. It looks so
So good.
smooth in motions. The backgrounds look unbelievably good with
It
like
looks
the
like
depth
what,
they have.
What Metroid Samus Returns could have looked like on the Switch if they had released it on there instead of the 3DS.
Yeah, exactly. And I love this mechanic of it's not quite as involved, but the Mr. X-like robot things that kind of
Yes.
stalk you around. It seems like they're segmented to certain areas, but that's still a really cool idea for a Metroid game,
Yes.
where it definitely changes it up a lot. I'm really, really excited to see what that's like. And it seems like there's different versions of it, and they have different abilities and different ways they can chase you. So, like, if you use your morph ball to get away from one to get in like a tight area, that might not work with another one. And I'm excited to see kind of how that plays out and the dread that comes from running into one of those. I'm so pumped.
Oh, shit. Oh, it's DREAD. I thought it was Judge Dredd that we were running away from the whole time. Son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Son of a
it
bitch.
turns out that underneath the helmet, Samus is actually Sylvester Stallone. But yeah, I still can't believe that Dread is real, because again, it's been rumored for 16 years. There's a hint about it in one of the Prime games where if you scan something, like Operation Dread is proceeding as expected, and I'm like, oh god.
Is there
I
enough
literally
of a
shrieked out
narrative?
loud when I saw Dread. I couldn't believe it.
Is there enough of a narrative that it's worth like going back? Not like for gameplay, yeah, you can enjoy these games, but is it worth going back narratively to get the story through these games? I feel like it's really flimsy at best.
If you're just looking for narrative, you could go just do a YouTube video that explains it. Personally, with the exception of the Game Boy one, and you can just play the 3DS one, I genuinely think that each of them are enjoyable to play for their gameplay. I've played all of them. I love them. But, I'm biased.
Zero Mission is a remake of 1, right, on NES?
Of the original. And that's the best way to play it.
Okay, I have
Yeah.
it on Game Boy Advance, so I will play that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go through all the 2D Metroid games I can before then. So I Super Metroid, Zero Mission, Fusion. I played Samus Returns so recently that I don't think I need to go through that one again, though.
That's fair.
But I really did like that one a lot. And I like that Mercury Steam is making it again, too, because I liked the combat in Metroid Samus Returns. It felt faster paced than it does it felt refined in a way that, like, playing Super Metroid again, that it doesn't quite feel as refined. No fault of the game. It was 1994 when it came out. So I'm excited to see sorry, voice crack there. Excited to see them kind of take the reins again. And also not be bogged down by having to put in 40 Metroids that are all the same repetitive boss battles over and over again, and they can actually have some experimental new bosses. They're not, it's whatever they want to do, unless Nintendo has had a strict guideline of this is the game you were trying to make in the past, so you have to make this exact game. But I feel like they probably didn't do that.
It's fair.
Hey everyone, guess what? I'm going to make an executive decision right now that we're going to go offline for like literally 7 seconds, because there's like a 3-second delay between when I say something and when you guys hear something. So I'm just we're going to go to a hold screen. I'm going to leave the Discord. I'm going to come back to the Discord. We're going to come back. It's going to be Papa John's all over this bitch. All right. I'll see you soon, everyone.
I'll miss you.
Keep recording and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, now that he's
Is
gone.
this camera?
I think he just moved into a new place, and the internet connection might be wonky-ish, maybe. I don't know.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you beautifully.
Super hot twats. All right, we are going back. All right, we're back. Hey, that didn't ever happen. Hey, everyone, what's up? Papa John's. Let's go.
So yeah, what was y'all's get hype moment of E3?
The entire Nintendo event, to be honest. That was my. Here's the thing. This is not like an objective thing. This is totally subjective, but like that was probably the best Nintendo Direct I've seen. For like me personally, as a kid, I didn't play on consoles a whole lot. I played on Game Boy Advance a lot.
Nerd.
And I played on like handhelds a lot. Totally a nerd. So I've been wanting to go back and play Advance Wars. I loved Advance Wars as a kid. I loved playing WarioWare.
That's
as
so
a
weird
kid,
to me. Sorry,
and I loved
Advance Wars. A strategy
Yeah.
game, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not typically a strategy game person, right?
No, not usually. That's like the exception because it has that nostalgia factor for me. It's
Yeah.
also very lighthearted for a strategy game. A lot of strategy games are like dark and like evilish, and this is just like, hey, here are commanders who are smiling at you and have special abilities.
You're gonna go
fun
murder
music.
a shitload of people, but it's gonna be
Yeah.
okay because we'll do it in pretty cartoony graphics.
Yeah, exactly. when a tank goes, or when a infantry unit goes after a city, it just kind of crushes the buildings a little bit. It doesn't actually like destroy people's homes or anything like that. It's a very surprisingly lighthearted game, but it's a really good strategy game. I enjoy it a lot, and I've always wanted to go back and play those, and I just never expected to see I never expected to see the franchise again. I never expected to see, even just like a GBA virtual console of those come back again. I never expected to see anything Advance Wars ever again, let alone a full-on complete remake of the first two games in one. Yeah. Oh, awesome. So excited for that.
Yeah.
WarioWare. Freaked out for that too. I love WarioWare.
Is
I've
WarioWare
only
fun
played
by
the
yourself?
first one. It is, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've never played one before, but it looks like one of those is like you have to be in a group of people to have fun with it. But I guess
No.
Okay.
What's fun about it is it's just really fast paced, and there's this like, oh god, okay, they're showing me this thing. It's a nose. Pick it, and then you have to like do something to pick the nose or something like that, and then and then it moves on to the next game immediately.
It's full chaos all the time.
It's so chaotic, and what I love about this one is it's that same chaos, but you also change your character every single time you start a new micro game.
Oh my god!
And each one operates differently and has a different mechanic to it. So not only do you have to figure out what to do, you have to figure out how does this specific character interact with this micro puzzle.
Did they put out a gameplay video for that?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, I need to watch that. That sounds fun. Because like I've only played it when somebody like passed me to try it out and what. I've never owned one. I'm thinking about getting this one because it does look like a bunch of fun.
Oh, there's also special Nintendo levels where they have like a set of Nintendo micro levels where it's like two Animal Crossing villagers next to each other, and it's like pass the present across, and you have to then like get Wario, fly him over, and like carry the gift over to Isabelle. Like, it looks awesome. It looks so good. But like those three announcements, just like together,
yeah.
It was just like my GBA childhood nostalgia just like kicked in overdrive. I'm like, holy shit, this event was made for me. It might as well have just said at the beginning, like, dedicated to Hold the Departo.
Like,
honestly,
how have we not even mentioned
amazing.
that yet?
But that's what's so amazing about this event is that should have been for me like the number one thing, and I keep forgetting about it. Mostly because they didn't show that much, and I don't really know what to think about it.
It's weird that you say that though, because they did show a bunch. Like they showed more than when they originally talked about the when it was for just for the Wii U, more than they showed for that. My hype level for Breath of the Wild 2 is just at like I'm gonna get it. I know I'm gonna play it. I know I'm gonna like it, but there was a big conversation recently going around about like, hey, so durability in Breath of the Wild kind of sucked, and I do agree with that, but I'm not going to be like, you should take it out and, shake my fist at the clouds because God, that's all that they're going to hear. But it's that system definitely decreases my hype for it. If they were like, we're going to do just an old style Legend of Zelda game with some elements of Breath of the Wild in there, I would be more excited. I am excited for the lore potential properties of this because there's been a lot of rumors going around. Barrett Courtney from Kind of Funny was saying like we might be playing as Ganon, and so that aspect of it has me more hyped than actually playing it.
Yeah, if we play as Ganon, I'm
also,
gonna freaking cream.
But also, like, literally, Nintendo could have announced anything else in that thing, and it still would have, Metroid Dread still would have won it for me. It doesn't matter. They could have been like, we're doing the ultimate crossover. You can do Animal Crossing with every single Nintendo character. It's the Smash Bros. Of Animal Crossing. I'd be like, don't care. Give me Metroid. We're doing a brand new Mario Kart.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
that actually sounds awesome. In my village, I have Samus and Luigi and like all these people living in my town. That sounds
imagine
great.
they do Smash Bros. Ultimate for like Mario Kart, where they're like, we got Master Chief and a little cart. Heck yeah! And I'm like, I don't care, Metroid Dread.
I do want that game really bad. I want that more than Mario Kart 9.
You know,
But
they
that's-
had that game, Mod Nation Racers. You
hypothetical.
can make your own racers and customize them however you want them to look, including Master Chief.
God damn it.
I was really impressed with Nintendo. I think you mentioned, like, what are your kind of standout moments? Nintendo had a really strong offering. I loved everything about it. I didn't realize this until today. I was listening to the Easy Allies podcast, the kind of wrap-up one, that aside from Breath of the Wild and Dread, and a little bit of WarioWare, a lot of the other really big announcements were all just remakes of old shit. Like, especially like the Mario Party one. It's just like, here's all the best stuff from Mario Party. Here's Advance Wars 1 and 2.
Oh, God, I'm so hyped for that.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. It doesn't diminish the the overall conference for me, but it's like, it's interesting that Nintendo, a large percentage of their offerings right now is just, Skyward Sword remake. It's all of these remastering and remakes of old shit, which I'm not against, because there's a lot of old shit I didn't play. But
they finally listened to the. They finally listened to the tens of thousands of fans that were like, "We will literally throw you money if you just let us play this again." And they're like,
and they're like, you don't want to buy Mario
we're down
Bros.
a little bit?
Again?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. but now in cat suits? Yeah, so.
Hey, that cat suit's awesome.
The Nintendo conference surprised me, and I loved it a lot, but I was also really... This was the Microsoft conference. I remember at the end of the conference being like, this was the thing that we've been needing to happen for the last 5-6 years. Well,
Yes.
honestly, the entire generation of the Xbox One. That all of the exclusives, the Bethesda partnership was paying off in spades. That's really what sold it for me. And then, interestingly enough, within 2 hours of seeing that conference, I couldn't remember anything other than Starfield. And so I was thinking back to what were some of the best things. It was like,
right?
you know what? I don't know. What did they even show off? There were a couple of vampire things that were all Left 4 Dead, but other than that, I don't know.
Like, I remember when they first started doing this thing of like, we're just gonna pack every moment of this with gameplay and new games and everything. I'm like, yeah, let's go. But now I can't remember half the shit you showed me because it was there. I was excited. It was gone. I was excited for the next thing. And that, for my ADHD brain, is a fucking nightmare. I could not anchor one goddamn thing after the other.
Yeah, the only thing there, so I saw Stalker 2 there, and I'm like, oh, Stalker 2 looks good.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm excited for that. I'll get a Series X for that. And then I'm like, oh, it comes out for PS5 a few months later.
Exactly.
Guess I don't need to get a Series X.
Here's what that did, though. Game Pass. Game Pass is already the best value in gaming.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But, like, what did it? It was 28 games, 26 of them were on Game Pass or something like that. And that was a very, very strong showing from them. I was very excited to see that Diablo 4 was not one of those games. That way I don't have to... Or sorry, Diablo 2 Resurrected was not one of those games. So I don't have to make the really difficult choice of, do I play this free on Xbox or do I buy it full price on PS5? Definitely going to buy it on PS5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Overall, do you think that the event did what it needed to do in terms of like... Do you think that
E3
they're
as a
set up for the
total?
future?
Or
No,
just
Microsoft's
Xbox?
event. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
Microsoft's event.
it did what it needed to do. Like, there was every freaking year it's just like, but where's the exclusives? And I'm like, that's what Game Pass. That's why they have that, because they don't have those now. They do, and I mean, I think you and I got into it a little bit on Twitter at one point about like Starfield and Elder Scrolls and stuff being exclusive, and. I did not think that Starfield was going to go exclusive because I'm like, it's too far into its development. They had to have already been working on it for the PlayStation. They would literally just be wasting all of that time and effort. But I guess Microsoft like, don't care, give it to us only.
No.
And
I think what happened there is they were working on it for PlayStation 5, and then Phil Spencer walks in the office. He goes, guys, we're buying you out. And then like 20 people with trash cans walk in from behind him and just take the PS5 dev kits and throw it in the trash. That's what happened.
No. Phil Spencer takes one of them, and they're like, "Aren't you gonna throw that in the trash?" He's like, "Nah, this one's coming with me," and he just reenacts Office Space taking it out into a field, slow motion, beating it with a bat. He's like, he spits on it. That's right.
This one's for Last of Us Part 2, you motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think Holden, it was you that brought it up, but I totally had forgotten that Morrowind and Oblivion for a little bit, but Morrowind was an Xbox exclusive. Oblivion was an exclusive for 3 years, I want to say,
and it was still exclusive after it came to PS3 as well, because it just was broken and you couldn't play it. So it might as well have been Xbox exclusive at that point.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Same with Skyrim.
Hey, I played Skyrim for the first time on PS3, and it didn't break down immediately. I picked the game. It just made it eventually so that nothing loaded when I walked through Whiterun because I had moved too much stuff. But yeah, so it's wild that we live in a world now where Bethesda games are exclusives, and I know that has been a thing, but it meant a little bit less because things were exclusive to random platforms all the time in the early 2000s. It was like, why is this exclusive? It just is. It wasn't even a money thing. They were just we just didn't feel like making it for Microsoft. Even during PS3 times, there were people we did not want to touch the PS3. Screw its cores. I hate this thing. But now we live in a world where I saw a Microsoft thing earlier, and there was them announcing Windows 11, which apparently this beefy computer can't run. They're like, oh yeah, now that we have Bethesda, and I'm like, God, every time I hear that, it's like I'm learning the information for the first time again because it's so mind blowing every time.
Oh yeah, knowing some of the games are going to be coming up, honestly, anything from Arcane. I think it was Tim Geddes said that Arcane is going to be Microsoft's Insomniac. And I'm like, totally. In a few years, totally that's going to be true. I love Dishonored. I can't wait for Deathloop. Those games are outrageously fun.
They just got to get smaller hands, man.
Those games...
I get that.
Can't play those games with the big old hands.
Huge.
I know. That's literally. I played
big,
an hour of Dishonored, and I just couldn't get over it. The art style with their hands being twice the size of their heads. No, sir, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth it. It's really good stuff.
No, thank you.
Although I haven't done Dishonored 2 yet, and I feel bad about that. I need to do that. I have it on my PlayStation. I have it. Just need to play it.
But you really need to be in the mood. I will tell you that you need to really be in the mood for what that game is, because I love Dishonored. I still haven't made it all the way through that game.
Really interesting.
Yeah. It's good.
I don't know
if it's a good game. I'm not saying it's not. And I jump around from games left and right, so that's not a big hit against it. But I will say you got to be in the mood.
Is it and this might be a really bad comparison, but is it like Banjo-Kazooie, and then they're like, hey, the third one's coming out, and it's nuts and bolts, and it's a different game?
No, it's definitely the same game. With it is more of a proper sequel, where it's what but with a little bit new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't go back and play the first one before I play the second one.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to do that.
Okay. But going back to the exclusive stuff, knowing some of these games are going to be exclusive, I can't wait for Fallout 5. I'm more excited for Fallout 5 than I would be for Elder Scrolls 6. But I'm going to have to get an Xbox to do that because I'm not a PC gamer. I don't really want to play those games in the cloud. I just would rather not. And I know there's going to be a lot more great stuff coming. So this is kind of the first time where I felt that need to get an Xbox.
Yep. And that is why they did it.
Yep. And
that right there.
From their business perspective, good for them. For my entertainment center, not as good news. I'm going to have 2 ugly boxes now on the entertainment center.
Listen, the Switch dock is not that ugly. Zing!
Oh, no. I didn't include Switch dock because I tuck mine in the back of my entertainment center so no one can see it.
I think everybody does.
I just did mine. I don't care if it doesn't.
It's actually
if the Bluetooth doesn't communicate. I don't give a shit.
This is a full tangent.
Don't play it anyway.
This is a full tangent. I don't care. I walked into someone's house one time, and they had the Switch dock in like there was like a little gap between the shelves and the TV space that was about this big. They had it on its back and like slotted in there, and I'm like, don't, please don't do that. Please don't do that. You're hurting my soul. Let alone that poor Switch.
That's funny.
Yep.
I'm trying to think what else. Like, their closing game was Redfall, which is like, okay, that
Looks
was a cool cinematic trailer. Looks cool, but like, who knows? Cinematic trailer.
Right.
I don't really know what that's going to be.
I mean, the last time I saw a cool cinematic trailer like that, they're like, actually, it's a battle royale game, and I went, okay.
Find out it's a card game. It's another Hearthstone.
Oh my god.
I've been looking for an excuse to get
I'm not
back into
excited for that.
Hearthstone, though. I like a good card game. Just kidding. Hey, though, Ubisoft.
I feel that's like the biggest lie you've ever said to me.
No, dude, I was big into Magic. I was big into Magic the Gathering in high school, and then I was big into Hearthstone for like a good 2 months whenever it first came out. So I was via it, and then I was like, I don't have time. But Ubisoft, like literally, I was so impressed by that. One of my predictions going into this E3 thing was we're going to be disappointed by Ubisoft, and turns out that wasn't the truth. Like Back 4 Blood looked great. Rainbow Six Extraction looks freaking awesome. It's another 3-player multiplayer thing, which sucks, but
Good choice on the change
excited.
of name.
Yes, yeah, very much so. But yeah, I was very excited by that.
I have a bet on Extraction that we'll never probably. A bet on Extraction I bet we'll never find out about, but just for the fun of it, do you think they had aliens in that game to begin with, or did they just add those in the past year?
Oh no, because it was that game got made because there was a mode for Rainbow Six Siege that was an alien invasion thing, and it was really
there was
popular.
okay,
yeah, and so they actually, from what I understand, they built this game because of the popularity of that mode.
Gotcha. Okay.
So. No, it was definitely there. Yeah, I won the bet.
Ubisoft was good. I agree. I think it kind of got lost for me and everything else. But like Mario Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, looks good. That looks really good. Looks like a great improvement.
Oh yeah,
Rosalina Rabbit,
on an already really good game.
Yeah. I love her just like sitting there sleeping, just like, I gotta get up. Fine. I was like, I relate to you so hard right now.
So, kind of overall with E3, there's been this conversation of whether or not E3 needs to continue and whether or not this is like it should end. I'm kind of curious after this week, or not this week, but like last week, do we feel that, or do we still want E3 to be around?
Absolutely needs to stick around, and I think it is most obvious because of the comparison to last year. Like everyone, industry people, fans, everyone was excited this year to have everything all in one kind of packed few days. Even Game Fest summer sucky bitchy shit was all in the E3 loop because they were like, we're coming out on Thursday and doing that shit. So I think having the consolidated time for all these announcements and trailers, I think was really, really helpful, and everyone was a fan of that. But also from one of the things that from an industry perspective that didn't get to happen this year or last was like the in-person stuff, the behind closed doors demos, all of like getting hands-on with a lot of these games and seeing impressions and previews that we just don't get to have without E3. If we just see, I mean, it's the same kind of thing like the E3, or not the E3, the Jeff Keighley DualSense thing. And just watching a video of him hold the controller in his hand saying, guys, it's good. It's like, that's not helpful. So when you're able,
I'd watch Jeff Keighley do that all day.
when we're able to get in person and hear actual like hands-on experiences with these things rather than just CGI trailers for things that could be great or could be awful, terrible things. That's what I think the value of E3 holds, and that's not going away, I don't think.
Hot take, I don't think it needs to continue. And what I mean by that is I don't think it needs to continue as it is right now. I think Nintendo hit on the best way to do game announcements years ago, and that's with the Direct. When Nintendo announces a Direct, everyone is hyped that is a Nintendo fan. Like,
maybe too much.
and that's fair. But the thing is, though, is that because they do these directs away from everything else, each one of those games gets more focused than they would have. Like right now during E3, they did the direct. Everyone's talking about Metroid and Zelda. No one is talking about the remakes and stuff that could have been getting really good airtime. Also, more than that, though, Xbox. There was a lot of games in there that weren't AAA titles, that were indie games and stuff like that, that would benefit so much more from having a bigger breathing room of that event than if we were like, okay, cool, but we just had Summer Games Fest like 2 days ago, and also Nintendo's is in 2 days. We got Ubisoft coming up after this. I'm not giving the time of day to think about this. For AAA games, E3 works phenomenally and well, and it gets everybody hyped. For the smaller AA indie games, it's just kind of a waste, and that's the unfortunate thing about it.
Do you feel like that's still true given last year with Summer Games Fest? Because I feel like personally last year it was that everything had at least a few days between announcements, but they were sudden, they were random, and by the end of the summer I didn't even give a shit. They're like, oh, something new for Summer Game Fest. I was like, I don't fucking care. I'm not going to tune in.
To be fair, that one was out of necessity and panic. Because that got put together in probably a month because of COVID and E3 shutting down and everything else having to change. If it was given the proper time, I don't think it needs to be over the whole summer, but if they just did it over the month of June and it was like, hey, Sony's probably going to say something at the end of the month, Microsoft's going to do something at the beginning of the month, Nintendo's popping up God knows when, he's going to come out like that freaking groundhog and see his shadow run back in there with that Metroid. Or just like give it at least, like I wish they would almost have it like a week each. Some of them I don't think need to keep going. Like the PC show, I know you all try really hard. I want to love that show. I watch it every year, and every time I do, I go, I got nothing out of that. So I think like, I think these things having more space now because there's so much more. Back in the day, E3 would happen and they'd be like, it's Halo. We're going to spend 15 minutes on Halo. Nintendo, we have so much extra time. Let's get these random people that have up on the stage to play invisible instruments with the Wii because we just have so much time. I wish there was more breathing room for stuff so that there was able to be more hype about things.
If it's not concentrated though, if it's not concentrated in that few days or that week, I feel like another opportunity that it's a huge networking opportunity for indie developers, and it's an opportunity for them to recruit talent, to court publishers and say, hey, here's my game that we just revealed, and here you can get hands on with it. Please publish us, dear God, please publish us. Like I feel like we'd be missing out on that if everything is spread throughout the entire month and then they're not concentrated together.
That I 100% agree with. Like there does need to be an in-person thing. I don't know if the keynotes and stuff need to be happening at the same time and everything though. Like I think there could be, there's the game developers conference and stuff like that. If there was an E3 thing that was more focused on that sort of stuff, I think that would be really good. They did open it to the public the last few years before COVID. One of my best friends went and was like, it was freaking wild. It was so freaking fun. I got to play stuff. Oh. And, but that, like, I would never go. Like, unless I had like a press badge or something like that, I wouldn't go. It'd be a waste of my time personally. But something like that for the industry part of it, I feel is important. But again, like I'm mainly thinking about the AA indie game stuff that I think needs more breathing room instead of like, well, now that you've just got your minds blown by Halo Infinite and the multiplayer is going to be free, here's some game you're going to forget about in 5 minutes. It's unfortunate that has to happen because everything does have to be fast. They're packing so much into that hour and a half to 2 hours that yeah, for me, I don't remember half of it. Like by the
Yeah.
time it's done, and that sucks. Like I almost feel like I need to sit there with a pad and paper to write down games that look interesting so I can remember them.
Yeah. It's kind of the opposite of that.
Because I know that when
Sorry, go for Holden.
I feel like when sometimes when Chad and I will go over like a Nintendo event and there's this like huge montage of indie games, and this isn't even E3 related, but it definitely ties to E3 as well. And then it's like we'll go through all the games, list all the games. It's like, what was this one again? I don't remember. And then we'll just move on to the next. Like, Super Metroid was announced, and we'll like freak out about that. So I definitely feel that. I also feel like at the same time, it's like a balance thing. Like. By having those big games next to indie games, it might give them a spotlight that they wouldn't have had otherwise.
Exactly. It's like in the television,
so
whenever
you're
something...
right, it's a balance.
They would give them a new show. They're like, cool, we're going to give you the slot right after The Office so that hopefully people will stick around and continue and watch it and learn to love it. So it's kind of that same mentality. Hey, you'll get a spot right after we show off Halo Infinite so that people are paying attention and hopefully they'll see and notice your game for the first time.
Yeah, but I think if it continues this way, I'm not going to say that it's the end of all things. Like, I'm not saying this is how it should be. It's just my personal opinion. I would be happy with E3 continuing as it is because I do get hyped during that time. My wife and I make an event out of setting aside time, sitting down, watching the press conferences and stuff, and talking about them and everything. It's a great time. So I'm again just thinking about the little ones.
Yeah, I think, excuse me, the month-long idea I like a lot, too, because I think that would kind of allow for the breathing room.
Yeah.
I think that would be exciting, and kind of let Microsoft stand on their own, Nintendo stand on their own, Sony stand on their own, indies can kind of stand on their own some more. I like that idea a lot, and hey, E3 week is one of my favorite weeks of the year, so
let's make it a month.
I'm down with that being a month long.
The games journalists, though, are going like, oh, God, please no.
Yeah. I do think a lot of this conversation of E3 is fueled by journalists being really burnt out on it, and I totally get that.
And you see, that's kind of another thing too, is that like I feel like there does need to be some level of restraint from companies because there's not enough time for everyone to talk about it. There's not enough time to make enough videos about it. I mean, we've sat here and talked for almost an hour and only talked about 4 of the games. So like, there's just not enough time to talk about them. It's too many damn games. There's too much fun. It's too much fun.
And some of the big indie games kind of got pushed to the side, like Breath of the Wild 2. Yep. We just didn't talk about that one as much because it was overtaken by WarioWare.
What a sentence.
So those are games we're looking forward to playing in the future. What games are we playing right now, though? Trevor, what have you been playing this week?
Like I said, I've been playing Metroid Samus Returns just because, like, okay, so here's how bad it is. This is how bad it is, y'all. I saw that trailer. I'm like, I need 2D Metroid right now. And I knew that I had Super Metroid on my Switch. I could play it. It'd be very easy, but I'm like, I want something newer. I want to play Samus Returns. I have not known where the cart is for that in 3 years. And I was like, okay, I will do this. I searched my house for 30 minutes and I said, I cannot find it. I made a declaration. I am purchasing it again. And I went to the eShop and I bought it again. So I've been playing that, enjoying the hell out of it. It's so damn good. I love it so much. But
you know what I just realized? Sorry, before you leave the Metroid thought, I just realized a half an hour ago, I was like, I haven't played too many of the Metroid games, and then I was just going back through and I was like, no, I've played all but 2 of them. So it's like, I have played all of them almost. Just kidding. Just not the first one because I did play Zero Mission, but I didn't play Metroid Samus Returns and Other M.
You don't need to play
So you haven't played one of them then?
Don't play Other M.
You haven't played one of them.
Don't do it. I love Metroid, and I can't with that game. But the main thing that I've been playing is Sea of Thieves. I've really it has got its hook in me.
Yeah,
It's a good subject. Yeah, no. So they at E3 during the Xbox conference, they were like, "All right, we got Sea of Thieves," and I'm just like, "Okay." I tried this game when it came out. My best friend loves Sea of Thieves, and I tried to love it with him, and I just couldn't. I'm like, I don't see what the point is of doing anything. I don't understand this. I'm out. And then they're like, "Hey, guess what? Jack Sparrow's in it. We got all this freaking new content. Then there's more than just Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. We made original content that's tying in with it. We're doing this huge thing. It's going to be awesome." I went, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to give it a shot. So I hopped back into it. Oh my God, it was just a week ago. It was last Friday, and I have been freaking addicted to it ever since. Like I'm thinking about
Trevor.
it like every day. I bought the book. I bought the role-playing game because that's my brand. Like my friends and I have been playing this almost every night or during the day. Like on Sunday, I think I spent about 6 hours playing that with my friends. And I don't play games for that long unless I'm doing a Destiny raid and getting very mad with everyone. That's not true. I don't get mad at you all.
I get mad at you guys. I definitely get mad at people in raids.
I know you do. I know you do. I'm there. I always love to start laughing when that happens. But no, like I started playing it. My friend was with me. We were actually doing it on stream. It was an absolute shit show because I had 4 other people on with me and everyone was talking at the same time. But you know, he was showing me the ropes of it and everything, and was like, "Okay, so we're gonna go over here. We're gonna get a mission. We're gonna go, find the gold and stuff." And like, I don't know what it was, but like, we started getting on the boat, like setting the sails, find the wind, find our heading and everything. I was like, "This is kind of cool. This is kind of fun. I like this." And then we got over there. We fought some skeletons. We dug up treasure. We took it back. We sold it. And I was like, that was actually a lot of fun. And by the time we had done like 6 missions that night, I'm like, I'm in. I'm here. Let's do it. And like, I've even been playing it on my own. Like, I'll get on and just be like, I'm just gonna go like dig up some gold and bring it back, get my reputation up, keep going on that season pass stuff because they got season pass now, and it's actually more lucrative on the free side than the paid side. It's absolutely
That's
wild.
interesting.
And, yeah. Like I've dropped money in here too because I play this on Game Pass. I got my Xbox, my PC, and I'm just like, I want that boat, I want that skin, I got a parrot, I don't care, let's freaking go. So I've been really heavily enjoying it. Joel's actually been playing it too. I saw on Twitter, and it's got the only gripe that I have with it is you can only get into the game with a max of 3 other people.
Yeah.
And to try and get on the same server is a nightmare. It makes no sense why you can't do that because 2 boats can team up already. So I don't know why we can't just have 2 boats in the same server easily. But then, of course, there is children that play it and play music really loud over their mic and scream at you with obscenities because they're swearing for the first time in their life.
Learning how fun it is.
Yeah, like literally the other day, we're on an outpost or something, and I hear cannons go. I'm like, "Are you guys shooting?" And they're like, "No." And sure enough, there's some like big boat shooting cannons at ours and sinking it when we weren't doing anything and had no treasure on it. And I go over and look, and I hear some terrible music playing through a mic, and some guy go, "Yeah, motherfucker, take that!" I'm like, okay, whatever. So if I could play that game without other people besides people I know, it'd be my game of the year. And then, of course, last but not least, I'm playing World of Warcraft on my stream because I stream now. That's the other thing I do. I stream on my own.
How do you stream when you have
Trevor
14 podcasts? That's too much time.
I stream in between them. Actually, one of my podcasts is off next week, and my wife goes, "Just because that's not happening doesn't mean you get to stream that day." So yeah, I'm back into WoW, and I've been off of it for like 13 years, and it's really good. It's I just go in there, turn my brain off, talk to chat, and do some quests. It's good times.
Are you doing classic or the current version?
I started off trying to do classic because that was about the time that I stopped playing. I stopped playing the expansion after that one, and it was fun. I was like, I'll see what new looks like. And there's so many quality of life changes. I'm like, I can't go back. I have to play current. It's just it's good. It's easy. It's fun. Oh my god, it's fun. But what about you? What are y'all playing?
I am
Chad, what are
very
you playing,
short.
Chad?
Very short list. It's. I'm ashamed to say I haven't played anything since Red Dead Redemption 2 when I was in Rhode Island like a week and a half ago. I've been moving. I'm back in California now. Moved all my shit. Been shopping. Got furniture. All unpacking all that shit. So we'll hear a little bit more about Red Dead. Speaking of, it's our barf game that ends this month, but we are extending it by a week, maybe a week and a half, so that we can both play a little bit more of it before we finish up. And I did play the multiplayer. We had it as a game night, Red Dead for multiplayer, and fucking Dallas was the only one that showed up. He stayed up past his bedtime to come join everyone who was so excited. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, bet I'll be there. Oh, I can't wait to be a cowboy again." And then everyone's like, "Sorry, I got to go play Ratchet and Clank or whatever was out that week. I don't remember." But Red Dead Online was the best time I had with it so far. We went and killed some like goat or ram or something like that, skinned it, put it on the back of a horse, and sold it. It was great. It was a good old time. That's it. That's all I played. And then now we're going to go to Holden. And I can still hear you, but I'm going to go pee real quick. So continue. No one can hear me pee. Not even you guys.
All right. I actually realized I forgot to put some things in my list here, but I'll go through them pretty quick. Super Metroid, kind of already talked about that a little tiny bit. So I played Super Metroid. I like it a lot. And I also played Red Dead Redemption 2 because it's a barf game.
Yep.
Spoilers. I love that game a lot. It's a good game.
Spoilers. I have the opposite opinion.
Yeah, I totally get it. It's a very...
Yeah.
If someone's like, "I don't like Red Dead," I'm like, "What do you mean you don't like very slow, methodical
See, here's the
games?"
thing. I did like Red Dead. I like Red Dead Redemption 1. I didn't beat it because it's just way too damn long. I played the first 15 minutes of Red Dead Redemption 2 and went, not for me. No.
Yeah. It has a lot of systems.
It has a lot in sentence.
I also played... I actually played through all of WarioWare for Game Boy Advance.
Oh, no shit. Oh, man, I should try and find that. I should try and find that one.
It's outrageous. It's awesome. Yeah. I love that game. Also, it took me like...
Totally outrageous.
It took me like 2 hours. It's not that long. It's very, very short. But I beat that. And then I did the Final Fantasy Origins demo.
I didn't get to try that.
Still got time.
I didn't like it that much. It wasn't for me.
I don't think I'm going to like it on a Final Fantasy level. I think I might love it on a Devil May Cry level, though.
It is definitely more Souls-like.
Oh, interesting.
But what I think is important for a Souls game to work is really solid mechanics and good level of control over what you're doing, and that's what I felt was missing.
So Sid is not in the game?
Work
because
for me.
Sid is the mechanic, canonically, in all the Final Fantasy games. And so there were none of him in there?
There's no Sids. None at all. There was the
not
Sid
even like
that
sudden infant
destroys
death syndromes?
toys. There
None
was
of those?
that Sid.
No Sids there?
Oh,
Nothing.
God. Actually, you remind me. I actually forgot a game on mine. I was playing Dark Alliance, the new D&D game that came out.
Tell me it's not as disappointing as everyone says it is.
I don't think it's that disappointing. I genuinely don't understand what game people are playing either. But actually, I have heard some reviews where I'm like, did you realize you played it wrong, right? Like, I don't like saying that. Because there was one dude that was just like, I never locked on to anything. And I went, that's why you didn't hit anything. That's how it tracks attacks. It is definitely a AAA game. It is not at all a AAA game trying to like reinvent the wheel or anything like that. But it is definitely a fun, turn your brain off and beat the crap out of stuff game.
How does it come? That was the original Dark Alliance and Dark Alliance 2, and there was like the crafting mechanics with the making shit with rubies and all that kind of stuff. That's all there. It's all the same.
Yeah, and no, because the thing is, like, people are like, this is a terrible ARPG, and I went, it's a good thing that it's not an ARPG then. because it's not about sending hordes of and waves of enemies at you like those or Diablo is. It's here's an encounter. We've set a certain amount of enemies there. Fight them, kill them, move on. It's actually got like. Go with me on this. Some people are going to hear this and have a weird, like, it's got actually a little bit of Souls-like in it, because it is about judging the encounter, deciding who you're going to attack first, planning which things you're going to use, blocking. Dodging is a huge thing about it. That's another thing I saw in the review. No one dodged. Dodging is very important. Like there's definitely bugs though. Like the enemy AI is crap. The archer gets totally screwed with levels of things. Like if you're not locked on and you're just on some stairs and you fire your bow, it just goes straight ahead. Like it does not go towards an enemy. So yeah, it's got a lot of problems. But that's why it is $40. It is again not trying to be a AAA game. I'm having fun with it though. I like it. Sorry, I
also free on Game Pass.
For that.
No, it's totally good.
It is free on Game Pass.
I played a very AAA game, which was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I have beaten it. I am on a second run through, and I want to platinum it.
How do you have time? What do you do?
I've been trying to dedicate more time to actually playing games. And also E3 week. Anytime after E3, I get super, super fucking hyped on games. So that also happens. But Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, holy shit, man. This is a really fun game. It is, to me, a really cool combination of, it's a like true next-gen experience, and it reminds me of like the PS2 era character platformers. And it has that like nostalgia element at the same time. And I adore it. I think it's awesome. The weapons are an absolute blast to use. They're so much fun. All of them. There's like 20 weapons, and they all feel like unique in their own way and have their own little circumstance where you want to use them. So you're constantly switching between weapons, and it's so good. And the story's fine. It's a Ratchet and Clank story.
Do I need to have played the other ones to do this? No,
not at all.
Cool.
Not at all.
I do. I'm playing a lot of stuff right now. It's on my list. I want to play it, but I was wondering about that, so that's good to know.
But you did
there
mention
are some
that
things that
you
you
won't
might
want to go back, right? Like once you play Rift Apart, you won't want to play the other ones. And I kind of want to play the other ones right now.
I wasn't gonna go back.
Oh, you silly slut.
Well, here's the thing about that. It's because it has... We're thinking of the story, and I'll touch on that. The story, there are some things I think that... Like, I've only played 2 Ratchet and Clank games. I don't have a ton of experience with it. I was fine keeping up with the story, but I can see how there might be some things that speak more to you if you had played the other games. Yeah. Like you're going to alternate dimensions, so there's like an alternate dimension of a character you might not know, so that moment might not speak to you as much. But regardless, the combat is just outrageously fun.
Good.
So much fun. But it's because of the haptics, and that's why if you play this one, you cannot go back. It is without a doubt the best haptics in the game. It just utilizes it to its fullest extent. I'm
not gonna lie, that makes me want to buy it right now. Like I love the haptic controller, like that. Damn.
I'll put it this way: when you beat enemies, these little nuts and bolts are around, and you collect them all to buy new weapons and stuff, right? But you feel all of them jump into your controller.
Oh, I love that.
It's really awesome. It's very subtle. You feel every footstep. It does like the Astrobot thing where every footstep feels different depending on what surface you're on. It does that thing, and then every gun feels different with the haptics. You can tell you're out of ammo because the trigger feels different. If you do the whole like half press versus full press, every gun does something different with that. And it's just like it utilizes it fully, and it makes it so fun.
I will say the other reason I want to buy this game is because I want Sony to be like, "Hey, look, this old school like platformer shooter game was really popular. Let's force someone to make another Jak and Daxter for the please love of God, make another Jak and Daxter. I really want another Jak and Daxter, please."
Also, it's gorgeous. It is without a doubt the best looking game I've ever seen, and it kind of has to be seen in person to be believed, because it really, I know this is like a meme at this point, but it's the whole like, it looks like a Pixar film. It really does. It is crazy.
Demon
you got to play
like a Pixar film.
you got to play with performance and ray tracing on.
Oh, yeah.
The ray tracing makes a big difference, I think, and to me, it's one of those things where I saw this and I'm like, I know there's been a lot of talk about cross-gen and whether or not those games get held back. I'm like, if we look at this and how good Rift Apart looks and what it can do with the haptic controllers because it's exclusive, and you look at Miles Morales, which is a good-looking game. I haven't played it, but like it still looks reminiscent of what a last-gen game looks like, but better looking than that. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is like leagues above anything I have played. There's no comparison, and I feel like that is definitely in part of being able to go balls to the walls and just like go all out with everything. And I'm like, holy shit, that is nuts! Like it really does make a big difference, and I cannot wait to see more games that fully take advantage of PS5. Because even Returnal, I thought kind of looked good looking game, but there are some parts where I'm like, that does still kind of look like a PS5 game in some respect, or PS4 game in some respects. But it's so smooth and it plays so well. The particle effects are so good that I'm like, okay, that's where like the PS5 goodness is coming in. But Ratchet and Clank is just like, it's at a different level. Everything looks perfect. Everything. I can't think of anything in that game that I'm like, oh, that looked a little subpar. It all looks amazing. So overall, I really like that game a lot. Also, really good New Game Plus mode. Very good New Game Plus mode. Where it gets a little harder, of course, but when you one like kind of mechanic in Ratchet and Clank games is every gun has a level, like it goes 1 through 5, and you increase the level just by using that gun. And then when you get to level 5, it becomes like a different version of that gun that's way better. Well, in New Game Plus, you get Omega weapons, and you have a whole new set of Omega weapons to buy, and they're like basically levels 5 through 10 for those weapons to make them like even better. So you kind of have that reason to go back and play through everything. But here's the reason that New Game Plus is the best. They add a combo mechanic to the game, where if you don't get hit, you have a multiplier that goes up with the number of enemies you kill to get more nuts and bolts so that you can get those Omega weapons in the first place.
Oh, wow. That's
And
pretty cool.
It adds so much to every encounter where everything feels more moment to moment, because you're like, if I get hit once, I'm going to lose that times 10 multiplier I have right now, and God damn it, I worked hard to do that. So you have to think more about, well, what weapons do I want to use in this scenario, because the buzzsaw gun works well against these small guys, then I have these big dudes coming over this way, and I'm like, this is awesome. It's so good. I love it. Big fan.
Awesome.
I'll stop talking about it now because I had just went on a very long rant about Ratchet.
It's okay. I was here for it.
So, before we move on, any other games we played at all before we go on to the
I'll be
Hideo
honest,
Kojima
I thought
Blue
of
Box
more
stuff?
while we were talking because I just played too many games, but it's okay.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the Sony Quest log then. We're going to be talking about these whole Abandon and Blue Box Game Studios thing.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll say this. I had put some stories in here for you guys to see in the notes, but then last night I kind of went down the rabbit hole a little bit, so I have some more things to share from what I found. Chad knows from our group chat that I've gone back and forth and have been very into this all week.
Yep.
Regardless of what happens, this is kind of the preface one, but regardless of what happens, this is fun. There's no reason to get upset at these people. There's no reason to get it's going to be okay.
Do
but
not
it is fun
harass
regardless.
Developers, please.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. It's okay to be upset that you didn't get Silent Hill or something like that, but don't tell them and be mad at them. But
I thought you were talking about this conversation we're about to have. You were prefacing it by, no matter what, it's for fun. Don't get mad at me. Don't call me names, please. I know I'm being a little bit psychotic and OCD about this thing, but
Holden bends down, puts on a wig of that guy from Ancient Aliens, Kojima.
Kojima, that will happen. I'm being honest. I have a very hard time believing that this is just an indie developer. I am finding that incredibly hard to believe the more I've looked into this. But let's go through it. I'll share the stories, and then I'll. Trevor's like, "Oh God, here we go."
Guys, I gotta leave by 6. You guys sure we got time for that?
Yeah, we got time for this. Okay, so starting off, Blue Box Studios, Hideo Kojima, and Sony PS5 exclusive rumor hints, Jeff Keighley links explained from Ian Agosa at DualShockers. So people on Reddit have noticed a lot of odd coincidences that linked Abandoned and then this small studio called Blue Box Studios, or Blue Box Game Studios, and Hideo Kojima. The speculation being that Kojima has secretly been working on a Silent Hill game for the past several years, and Blue Box Studios is a front for all of that. Just like he did with Moby Dick Studios and Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, and just like he did with 7780 Studios with PT. So he did the same thing. So since the first trailer for Abandoned back in like April, this rumor has been brewing. Well, it blew up on June 15th when Blue Box Game Studios, I think not so cleverly, tweeted, guess the name, Abandoned equals first letter S, last letter L, reveal closing in ... hashtag PS5, hashtag PS exclusive. And I totally understand how people would see that after there's already Kojima Silent Hill rumors and then go, oh my God, it really is Silent Hill. And people freaked out. But that tweet has now been deleted after causing all of that kind of hoopla. But then hours after Blue Box denied that they are working on Silent Hill and having affiliations with Kojima or Konami. And the reason there's still a hoopla is that this is, again, exactly what happened when Moby Dick Studios and 778 Studios occurred. There is the whole denial. We're not really Kojima. We're not making Metal Gear Solid 5. We're making your small indie game, Phantom Pain. And then it turned out to be Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain. So, like, denials is not working for a lot of people on this. So it's attracted the attention of some of these big journalists.
Yeah.
Like Jason Schreier, MBG, who's not necessarily big, but he got a chance to talk to Hassan. And, Hassan Karaman's the creator of Blue Box Game Studios. I forgot to mention that. And also another journalist named Mark Delaney, who they've all talked to him and reported on their conversations. And Jason Schreier's conversation kind of sums up most of what was said. There's a few other things that are additional I found. But Jason Schreier found that this guy really is legit. It's not like it's Hideo Kojima. There is actually a guy named Hassan Karaman, and that is a indie studio made up of a network of friends. He said like 10 friends, and then they have 50 in total, including those 10 friends, 50 people they're working with outsourced studios. There's 7 total studios they're outsourcing with. And one of the things that Jason pointed out was that he knows that this Karan guy is a real developer because he's been frequenting Unreal Engine forums and Reddit communities to answer questions about two other devs about Unreal Engine. So like this guy clearly knows his stuff. He's not like an actor. Despite several denials, the conspiracy won't stop. This is likely... Oh, I already said that part. After talking to Karaman, Jason still, however, had many things that he thinks didn't add up. So one, this is a small indie developer who claims to be making a photorealistic game at 4K 60 frames per second, which is a tough benchmark for like any studio to hit, let alone one with 10 people on it. Blue Box's LinkedIn page shows Karaman as the only employee. I actually was not able to find the LinkedIn account anymore. I think that's gone. And their last project, this is the one I think is really interesting. Their last project failed to gain traction on Kickstarter. I actually should say this is their first project. It was a game called Rewind. In 2015, they hosted this Kickstarter. They asked for $12,000, and they only brought in $207. Yet, they attracted the interest of Sony, who apparently reached out to them after that. I found that Kickstarter page, and it does say on there, from 2015, we were just funded by a private investor, so we're taking down the Kickstarter page. So that there is a 2015 web page that says that. And now we know that was Sony who found them back in 2015. Karaman will not mention who the other private investors are. And he also won't mention any of the other developers who are working on Blue Box or working for Blue Box. He won't bring any of them into the fold. For whatever reason, he might have very legitimate reasons for doing that. Jason reached out to several people/organizations for comment, all of which declined. Caveat on that, I'll get to it. Sony has not commented on this at all. Jason Schreier reached out to them, they didn't comment. Jeff Keighley has said he's talked to Hassan over DMs on Twitter.
He also said that previously when it was the Phantom Pain thing as well, but I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah. And in this case, Hassan reached out to him and was like, hey, like, can we show off our game during Summer Games Fest this year? And apparently they're working on that now. I'll touch on that one in a second because that one's interesting. Jeff Keighley didn't respond to comments or didn't want to give a comment to Jason Schreier. Actually, I'll just say the Keighley thing right now. Jeff Keighley's Twitter account is set up so that he has to be following you in order for you to message him. So Jeff Keighley was already following this guy before he reached out to him. The time frame of when Jeff Keighley heard from him is uncertain. I haven't been able to get that detail, but I do think it's kind of odd. And I think should be kind of pointed out. Like, Jeff Keighley was already aware of this dude, this random like indie dev with like no prior track record before. Anyway. And then there's also 2 outsourcing companies that Karaman claimed to be working with. One was Noir Studios, and the other is Dekocon Studios. Noir Studios has actually responded on Twitter now. They made a video with their founder who said that it's such a weird video. He says they are in fact real people and that they're really excited for the project that Hassan is working on. That's all we know.
Yeah.
Noir Studios, this is what I went off on this about Twitter. Noir Studios works on AAA games. They have worked on The Last of Us Part 2. They've worked on Death Stranding. They have worked on like Halo Infinite, Fortnite, Days Gone. I mentioned that one. Spider-Man. I'm missing another Sony exclusive that they did. But they work with like really big. They did Marvel's Avengers as well. They do really big games. I don't know how this studio had the budget to work with them when one of the things from Jason's call and MBG's call and Mark Delaney's call is that the budget for the game was $250,000 for 50 employees, and they get these huge companies to work with them. Mm-hmm. Kind of some things that don't add up. I have more I can kind of go on, but do you want to kind of chime with your thoughts here?
Here's my take on it all. As you were explaining it, I started to remember, I was like, oh, there was a game a few months ago that people were like speculating, oh my gosh, is this actually secretly Kojima? And so while you were talking, I went back and looked it up, and April 7th, there's an article that says Kojima's next game is coming to PS5, but it's not abandoned. And I was like, oh yeah, that was several months ago. 2 months ago, people were having the same argument. And I remember the argument being like this poor guy from Blue Box Studios. At the time, I was thinking, this poor guy, they go and make this game, and they go and they reveal it, and everyone's just like, oh yeah, that's Kojima's. We're going to give all that credit to Kojima. And I'm like, no, dude, we're not associated with them. Please, dear God, it's just us. Here's what I think happened. All of that fallout, they got a ton of attention from that. All of that fallout happened, and then 2 months go by. They're about to reveal it. No one's fucking paying attention to them. They don't care about this game anymore. And they're like, remember all that attention we got when we were being compared to Kojima? Let's do a little marketing stunt here, and let's try to stoke some interest again. So they're now making this up. And Blue Box is saying, hey, I know earlier we were trying to distance ourselves from being associated with Kojima, but now we're like, that's getting us the most marketing we've had in years. So let's play into that a little bit. And so that's what I think this is. I think it's a stealth marketing campaign for them to get people to pay attention to Abandoned so that people will see their trailer on Friday and just get some free publicity out of it, out of a tweet. That's my take.
I think that's one of the possibilities here. Is he's pulling off a grift. I think that's one of the possibilities here for sure. Sorry, I cut you off, Trevor.
No, it's okay. So actually, while you were talking, the reason I was looking outside is because I was watching the Abandoned trailer because I hadn't actually seen it. I don't know. Like, okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing that this is the biggest wrench in the cog for me. Because again, everything's lining up there. It was just like nobody knows who this is. They have never heard of them. They're got all this stuff. They're like, Kojima's done this before. They're talking with this. Like, everything is lining up with how Kojima has hidden stuff before. However, no one has given me information on, okay, but Konami hates Kojima and also still owns Silent Hill. And the last announcement we got about Silent Hill was a skateboard.
Right.
Which was this week.
Yeah. So I don't that's the big part for me where I'm like, yeah, but like, how did we get here? like did Konami just go, you're right, we're a bunch of bastards, all right, come on back. Like, if it weren't for that, if we had heard rumors about like Sony's stealth purchasing Konami's IPs, that would make sense. Like, because there was that big rumor for a while ago that Konami was selling their IPs and Sony was going to buy them, and then Konami was like, we're not selling shit. I that's the part that makes it hard for me to believe. I'm very much in the middle. I want it to be true because, again, it's fun. Also, I love Silent Hill. I will take another Silent Hill. I love Kojima games. Give me both of that together. But at the same time, if it's not real, I won't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm in that boat too. Like, if it's not real, I won't be surprised. But it's so much fun. I loved like digging into this and finding out
absolutely.
some more. I do want to offer a little bit of background that might actually answer some of your questions, Trevor. So last year there was rumors of Silent Hill coming back. And there was this rumor of like Konami's working on a few different projects for Silent Hill, but they're shopping them out to different developers.
Yep.
And part of those rumors was that Sony was trying to bridge the relationship back between Kojima and Konami. And then someone had noticed that Kojima and Konami have started following each other on Twitter again.
Yeah,
so,
I read into that one that I think, God, what was the time frame? It turned out that they had actually started following each other 2 years ago, I think it was. So it was off a little bit, but it was still weird that it was like, oh, okay, so that's happening. But I also don't take Twitter following to be BFFs. I know I hate follow a few people. So yeah, I want it to be true, but I don't know.
So here are a few things I wanted to share in addition that I found that I just thought was really interesting. And this doesn't prove it's Silent Hill or Konami involved, or even Kojima. This is just more of me saying, I think that there really is something bigger happening here, because the timeline of events, from what I was able to see, makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It makes zero sense. So 2015, they do that Kickstarter page. They get bought by, or they get like invested by, and Sony invests in them. And then they said, this is all from the Jason Schreier, MBG, and Mark Delaney calls. They started apparently working on their dream project, which is what they want to release now, back in 2017. And at the end of last year, they actually released it as an early access game on Steam. It's called The Haunting Bloodwater Curse or something like that. And one red flag, would Sony ever allow a game that they invested money in to be available as an early access on Steam?
No.
Don't think so. That seems very, very strange to me. And I spent some time looking through that page, and let me tell you, this game looks bad. Like,
what is it
really
called? Bloodwater?
Bad. Bloodwater, yeah, something like that. Actually, I'll link you guys the
oh, yeah, here it is. Yeah.
The
Haunting.
Let me link you the
Bloodwater
gameplay
Curse.
video I found. I found a gameplay video of it. It's 30 minutes long.
All reviews mostly negative.
Yeah, mostly negative. Let me find it, because I couldn't, I was really shocked. It looks terrible. Oh, shit, it was just there.
Okay,
Right,
I've played worse looking games than this. Oh, okay.
I don't think it's the worst looking game ever. I'm just saying they don't look good. Not a Sony has invested money in this and is really excited about this project.
But again, you're right. Sony would not be like, oh yeah, put it out in early access. Just screw it, go.
Yeah. It's only a half hour of gameplay out of, at that point, almost 4 years of development. And they only have a half hour of gameplay, and it doesn't look good. I just put the link in the chat for the video.
Yeah,
you should seriously skip around in it, because it's bad. The whole mechanic is kind of Fatal Frame-ish. You take a picture of a ghost to kill the ghost, and the way it's introduced is hilarious. This guy walks into a room, there's a skeleton with hair and a dress on a couch, and there's a camera next to him. He picks up the camera, and then blood on the walls says, this camera kills ghosts. And
no, it fucking doesn't.
It does. It 100% does.
No, it fucking doesn't.
It 100% does. And let me see if I can find the timestamp while I explain this. And then this ghost starts to come after him. He's taking a bunch of pictures of it. It gives him hit points, plus 500 points and all this shit. And then after the ghost dies, he says, boy, this camera really does kill ghosts.
Oh my God.
All right, it's at 20 minutes and 32 seconds in. You'll see him walking in the house, and you'll see that stuff on the wall. And I saw that, I'm like, "There's no way! There's no way! This is like legit." It was so strange to me, and they keep promising.
Kills ghosts. I want to frame it and put it on my wall. I want to write that in that font and just put it on the wall. Can someone cross-stitch this for me, please? I need this. This camera kills ghosts. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Oh, man.
On their Steam page. Go ahead, Trevor.
No, you go.
On the Steam page, they keep promising, "Oh, we're going to release an update. We're going to release an update and patch up some of the stuff, and we're going to do that." And there's all these comments of like, "It froze up in this one point. I don't really know what's like going on, and the animations aren't great." And like, "Oh, we're going to fix all that stuff." And they've never released any updates. They have announced updates that they have the update coming up, but it never actually happens.
Checks out.
And sounds like Cyberpunk.
Then April 7th. Yeah. Well, here's the thing is they released updates, but they didn't do much. They did half of it. So April 7th happens, and that Abandoned trailer comes out. The next day on the Steam page, they say, "Oh, we're passing development on to this other company called CreateQ Interactive. We're no longer the developers of this game," despite the fact that that guy continued to talk to people on the Steam page for like weeks after that happening. Maybe that's just a handoff period. Who knows? CreateQ Interactive, the only thing I could find was a company in the Netherlands that sells electronic appliances. I don't think they're taking over development of this game, nor who would want to take up development of this game at this point. And here's the weird thing to me.
Whose dream it is to kill ghosts with a camera.
The weird thing to me is that that trailer for Abandoned is not actually gameplay from the game.
Yeah.
Hassan said this on the call, like, it's not really gameplay from the game. What happened is Sony was like, "You need to give us a trailer, and you need to give this trailer like now so we can release it." And they panicked, and they put together this they basically, in Unreal Engine, just got preset assets they bought off of a store for $35. Someone actually found the asset pack that they used and made it in one night, apparently. And in one night, that looks way better than the game they worked on for 4 years. And that's where I'm like, I call bullshit. That doesn't make any sense. They could have made an environment in one day that looked better than an environment they worked on for 4 years? No way. That doesn't make any sense, especially when they have funding from Sony. They have funding from 7 other...
Honestly, now I'm more on the side of I want this dude to be a con man and he's just screwing over Sony. Like, I'm now on that side and very hyped for this lawsuit that's going to happen.
And I think it's totally still a possibility here. Like, we'll find out tomorrow when this trailer thing comes out. But it's like, that timeline doesn't make any sense at all. You spend 4 years working on this thing. It looks like garbage. Then in one day you do better.
I want the trailer to come out tomorrow, and it's a side-scrolling, pixelated like Metroidvania game. Like I want this to be the biggest con. Oh my god.
This would have been the best way to introduce Metroid Dread.
Yeah.
Turns out it's Metroid Dread.
5. This camera kills ghosts.
So there's a ton more. I didn't really care so much about the whole, like, the number 27 showing up in a bunch of places.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of you're searching now, like you're looking and you're finding sort of shit. They're like, well, if you translate his name into Turkish and then back into Japanese, it's Kojima. And I'm like, okay, calm down. Like, did you notice that? I saw a legitimate one where it was just like, if you take Kojima's tweet about the movies he's watching recently, enough letters in it spell out Silent Hills. And I'm like,
I saw that one too. Yeah.
No. Do you hear yourself? Like, no one's taking that seriously.
And the name translation thing too, like, I'm just assuming here, I don't know much about Turkish and Japanese cultures, but those might just be common names.
Also, apparently Hassan proved he's a real person this week. I saw some article. I didn't look into it, but I'm like, all right, good for him. He's real.
And that is one of the weird things too, is that video's like it's like 30 seconds long, and it's just him being like, I'm a real person. I'm not affiliated with Hideo Kojima in this, and it's like him against like just a blank wall, and that's it. And I'm like, it still could be the grift thing, but this just screams Kojima, like that kind of thing.
I just want him to be a con man so bad. I just like they're gonna have to call on the cast of Leverage to like get revenge on him. Like I need it.
Yeah. Oh, here's the other weird thing. I totally forgot about this one. Noir Studios. 2 days ago, they were following like 650 people on Twitter. Mm-hmm. They are use a site called Social Blade that tracks like what is happening to different social media accounts. They stopped following everyone except for 10 people.
Huh.
Including they still have Blue Box Studios and Hideo Kojima are still on the people that they follow. Which, if they were trying to take away from the whole Hideo Kojima thing, they're getting rid of hundreds of people off their Twitter account. Get rid of Hideo too. I don't think he's going to be hurt you're not following him anymore. That seemed like they're either playing into it because it's a marketing thing or what. I don't know. But I also feel like this studio wouldn't be working with this indie team if there's nothing of substance that this guy is producing. Like, this is a serious studio.
Yeah.
Are they sending assets and then he's like wiping his ass with them and laughing? Like what is happening? It's really, really strange. So I kind of don't believe that he's just an indie developer. That's the one thing. I don't think he's an indie developer. I think that he's probably a developer, and I think he's probably associated with a larger company, and they're hiding the IP of the game they're working on. I think that's really what is happening here. They don't want people to know the IP because they want to tease it out. And like, just to make the Hideo comparison one more time, I apologize. I'm sorry, tinfoil hat. Whenever Hideo does this thing, it's for this like mysterious, I'm making a fake studio. It's for a existing IP. Metal Gear Solid he did it for, Silent Hills he did it for. The reason he didn't do it for Death Stranding is he didn't have to, because you can't do this whole what is it not the kind of thing. It's like, oh, it's an IP you never heard it before.
Oh, it
but
was Death Stranding the whole time? I had no idea.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But people still did have the whole, what is Death Stranding? What's going on here? What is this game? We're playing it right now? What do you mean we're playing it right now? Like, this is like what he does as his marketing tactic. Yeah. And I feel like if it legitimately wasn't him, if it legitimately was just this indie studio doing their own thing, Sony would have made a comment, Konami would have made a comment, or Kojima would have made a comment. Yeah. Konami commented last year about the Silent Hill rumors and said that it's not happening. Or they specifically said it's not happening the way it's being reported. They kind of talked around it, but that was kind of like the gist of how they said it. It was very strange. Sony absolutely would have gotten ahead of this and said, no. Like, we're not, like, that's not what's happening here. We need expectations. Sony's pretty good at setting those expectations. That's the thing that keeps getting to me, is why haven't these companies said anything? Yeah. You think that they would have. So I'm like at a total loss. It's crazy. It's crazy nonsense.
I'm going to walk us back a quick hour and be like, by the way, while you were talking, I literally just remembered that a new Fatal Frame got announced.
But it was a remake, wasn't it? It was another remake.
Oh, I think it was a remake. But still, Fatal Frame was in one of those presentations, and I just now remembered, going back to not remembering anything. But yeah, no, I think it's wild, and I kind of want to be a con man now.
The last thing I'll say on it is that we know
he would be totally crushed.
I'm going to use this as an opportunity to tell a joke, and then we'll move the conversation forward. We know that Twitter and who people follow is like the biggest smoking gun, and we know that from KFC. Because KFC on Twitter literally follows all 5 Spice Girls and 6 random men named Herbert. And that's for the 11 herbs and spices. So that's a true thing. It was a secret that's been out there for a long time that someone only recently discovered. But I think that's the most telling thing. 10 people, one of them's Blue Box,
that's so
one of them's
good.
Kojima.
That's art.
Yep.
So
for time's sake and for Trevor, we gotta move
tender
on.
box where it's the 5
exclusive
Spice
for
Girls.
KFC's. Yeah, exclusive for KFC's gaming console.
Moving on to the third party, which is more speculation. The speculation episodes. Other side of suspicion. Here we go. Rumor: EA is getting set to bring back a quote established IP at EA Play Live. Says Chris Moyes at Destructoid. Apparently, it's Dead Space.
Okay.
Make
I'm
it
gonna
But it's
move
gonna
my
be
mic back.
reimagining, not a sequel.
I'm gonna move my mic back. I'm gonna scoot back a little bit. Please, please. So the funny thing about this is the night before this news came out, I literally was talking to one of my friends about Dead Space, and I'm like, it is such a fucking shame that we're never going to see another Dead Space game. And then this rumor came out the next day, and I was like, don't do that. Don't give me hope.
You spoke it into existence. You put it on a vision board.
So much. I did, and I need it. I need it. Please do.
I hope so.
That's all
I
have to
hope
say.
it's real. I'm so fucking pumped.
Yeah.
I love Dead Space 1. I got the platinum in that. I did the whole thing with just the little plasma cutter. I love Dead Space 2. It was great. I never got around to playing Dead Space 3. I was excited because I had co-op, but I never got around to playing it. But
You don't need to.
what's funny is that I got it. I got it for my birthday. I opened the shrink wrap, and then it just sat on my shelf. EA plays at the end of July.
The end of July, yeah.
Okay.
So we have a little ways to go, but I agree totally. I can't fucking wait. I've only played the first one. I never played the second one, which I really regret. Which I kind of would like them to bring back, like a trilogy, kind of thing or whatever
Gotta
for
get
the new
Dead Space
consoles. But
Extraction as well from the Wii and the PS Move.
I
don't
actually
think
like that game.
that collection's going to happen though, because if this is a reimagining, they don't need to do the whole like go back and relive the early story. Like they probably don't want to do that. So I'm a little bummed, but I'm really, really happy that this is even being talked about because
Give me
kind of the
necromorphs,
Advance
give me
Wars
plasma
thing.
cutters. I just want it.
Yeah, kind of the Advance Wars thing. I'm like, we'll never hear about Dead Space ever again. It's just the way it's going to be. But at least we're talking about it, and that makes me really excited. And to think about being on a ship, like the dark ship, like in the first one, with ray trace lighting to like illuminate beautifully, and sounds great.
Stop,
And 3D
please
audio.
Please stop being so arousing. I really need you to stop.
I'm
Just
Dead
stop
Space
talking.
sexual right now.
Trevor, and haptics.
Oh God, haptics. I want to feel it stab me.
Feel it stab me.
So we're all pumped about Dead Space. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
I might be pumped about this next Fetch Quest story. Let's see. Don't worry, Nintendo, quote, absolutely has plans for Animal Crossing New Horizons going forward, says Liam Doolin at Nintendo Life. No specific content was mentioned, but look for more to come.
Absolutely, they're gonna have another Easter Bunny event next spring. Absolutely.
Look, here's the thing that I was kind of shocked about, where people were just like, "What do you mean we didn't get any?" I was like, "This game has already gotten more attention than any Animal Crossing game ever, like except for the mobile one. The mobile one gets all the microtransactions and stuff, but like they've already done like so much stuff with Animal Crossing New Horizons that if they stopped, there's still plenty of stuff there. Like they could literally just set it to auto update for the seasonal events, and it'd be good because it's Animal Crossing."
The only thing, though, is that there have been like the data mines that have been accurate about so much stuff that say like they predicted red coming back, they predicted the swimming, like because the data mines have shown a lot, and they said like, oh, we're gonna get more shops, we're gonna get a bigger Nook's Cranny, we're gonna like, when's that stuff coming? Like that's the part I get amped about.
I just want the cafe. I need Roost. I just that's all I want. That's all I want.
Boring.
But yeah, no, of course
That
we're gonna
game's
keep doing it.
boring.
Your face is boring, Chad.
Psychonauts 2 was made without crunch, according to senior producer Rebecca Smith at PlayStation Lifestyle.
Nice.
Hooray,
That's why
good
it
for
took
them. Just gotta call it
25
out.
years, but also great. If it takes 25 years and you're still
Honestly,
profitable,
great.
awesome.
Yeah,
Apparently, so did Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
yeah, I heard about that.
However, I was listening to David Jaffe talk because he was in this like whole debate about crunch. He had a very surprising take, to be honest, but that's besides the point. We won't get into that because it's a whole long conversation we don't have time for. But he said that he talked to someone who he didn't name, but he's like, I talked to someone who works at Insomniac. He's like, hey, did you guys not crunch at all on development? And their exact words were something along the lines of, we certainly made it a priority, which kind of says like, yeah. So it might have been, it wasn't like terrible crunch like you hear it like Rockstar or Naughty Dog, but it sounds like there probably was still something.
Was your game made without crunch? This camera kills ghosts.
This camera kills
Jesus.
The Borderlands movie has officially wrapped filming since Days Past the Game Ranks.
You skipped Final Fantasy IX.
Oh, I skipped over Final Fantasy IX. I already checked it off, so my head I was just like, I already said it. Final Fantasy IX is getting an animated TV series, says Liana Rupert at Game Informer.
That's awesome.
And it's called Dragon Ball, and was made 30 years ago.
No, stop it. Just because someone has a monkey tail doesn't mean it's the same thing, Trevor. No, I loved... My favorite part about Final Fantasy IX is the characters and the story and this existential crisis that everyone's going through. So I'm excited to see that narratively played out.
I've never played it.
Dude, it's great. We played it for Barf. Go play it. It's good. It's good. It's good. And they have all sorts of cheat modes now on the PS4
I think I can
version.
get it on the Switch.
You can.
Oh. Okay, maybe I'll play it.
The Borderlands movie has officially wrapped filming since Dennis Patrick Game Ranks. I already said that one, but I have to go in order because I'm OCD like that.
And that's exciting because despite Randy Pitchford interrupting everything on set during their stupid presentation, they finally were like, thank God he left. We can finish filming. And then this is them announcing that.
Oh my God, I forgot. Also, super hyped about E3 freaking Wonderland, Borderlands Fantasy.
Yeah.
I need it. I want it again.
Oh,
I forgot about it because everything, but that's going to be awesome.
Tiny Tina D&D DLC from Borderlands 2 was my favorite piece of DLC. It was fantastic and hilarious.
And it's a whole game of it. I can't wait.
When I saw that, I'm like, Chad's gonna be so happy because that's your favorite character in Borderlands. They're making a whole game around her.
I love Tiny Tina.
They're gonna love that. Speaking of love that for Chad, because I think Chad will be happy about this. Overwatch crossplay for Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC available now, says Owen S. Good at Polygon.
Ooh, let's go. I got so many people tweeting me about this. We got Matt, we got Brent, we got John, we got Darby, we got Jeff, we got El Jefe. That's Jeff again. Also all sorts of people are just like, we're excited for this. And now we're going to play. That's it.
I'll play.
Yeah. I gotta wait for Overwatch 2. I'm not gonna buy Overwatch right now, and Overwatch 2 is right around the corner. So it's good news when I get Overwatch 2.
It's good.
Sorry, I'm lame. I'm super lame. I get it.
Yep.
God.
And that is all the fetch quests that we have. Trevor only has 6 more minutes before he has to go. So it is up to you if you want to do a We're So Fucking Humble or not, or if you want to skip over it completely.
I got a quick We're So Fucking Humble. I had 2, and I had a long one, and I got a short one. Short one. You are allowed to greenlight any sequel to any video game that has ever existed, and it will immediately be worked on. What game do you greenlight?
Oh, fuck.
That's why I said sequel to a game, because I knew if I did any game, it would just be astronomical. But because you see, I thought about the answer to this. They're already fucking doing mine. Metroid Dread is real. What? Because that's the thing. Like we do live in the decade of sequels and whatnot. But there's always the few that slip through. And you know what? I'll do mine. I got mine. Jack and Daxter. I want a new Jack and Daxter. I don't care if it's a sequel to 3. I don't care if they just get rid of it or whatever. I just want a new Jack and Daxter that is in some form of sequel. It's the characters that I love back doing wacky shit. Freaking Daxter just being a massive asshole to everyone, and just everyone loves him. He's like the Bender in a ferret suit. It's great.
Okay, so I have 2 answers.
I've got one.
The first one I came up with. Go ahead. You go first, Chad.
Okay, I've got one. It's the it's the only one I can think of right now that I loved the first game. I'm not as passionate about it as a lot of other internet personalities are, but Bloodborne 2. I'm super into whatever, like Bloodborne 2. Get out.
Beautiful.
I was going to say Bloodborne 2.
Let's go.
Yeah. No. Good answer. Yeah.
All right, I was going to say Bloodborne 2 as well. I have a backup.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I still have 2. So Bloodborne 2 is one of them for sure. I thought of one and I'm like, this is so stupid. You can't say this out loud, but I'm going to say it out loud and I'm going to look really stupid. But I'm going to do it because I liked playing this game on GameCube when I was a kid. It's the only Sega game I've ever beaten.
Okay.
Billy Hatcher of the Giant Egg.
No.
I would love to see that.
Who the fuck? Oh my god, I remember this game.
Yeah.
I remember stalking this at GameStop. Oh my god. Okay.
Billy Hatcher.
Weird thing.
Billy Hatcher was the game that when we were playing Halo on the Xbox downstairs at Christmas, we had to make our little cousin Rick, who wasn't allowed to watch us shoot things, he had to go upstairs and play Billy Hatcher.
I love it.
It's a fun, charming, unique game where you roll chicken eggs around everywhere. It's enjoyable. The second one is very similar to Chad's answer, and that's Sekiro 2. I want Sekiro 2 so bad.
Perfect.
And why not? I want Elden Ring 2 as well.
Greedy bastard.
And we have 3 minutes left.
That was our game on Game Show.
Game on Game Show.
Woo! Yay! That was good. Go find Trevor at all of the places that he listed at the beginning of the podcast. And if you need to hear those again, listen to the first 12 minutes of the podcast that he takes up listing all the podcasts that he does.
Just find me on Twitter at the Trevor. There's an A hiding in there. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's a really long Twitter handle. At the Trevor, there's an A hiding in there. You have homework if you're a listener. Respawn Aim Fire.
I had to pull some strings.
Patreon.com/RespawnAimFire. Go vote on a barf game. We're going to put up another poll for July, and because we're extending Red Dead, it will be a short game in July. I promise. Only 4 short games to vote on. Go there to also get dope wallpapers. And then, I don't know, fucking like us on shit. Go like us. Please like us. Please. Thank you, Trevor, for joining us. We will get you out of here with 62 seconds to spare, I promise. Hey, here's our usual sign off. Until next time, lick my balls, it's a callback.